Hey artists, today off the supply table you're going to get one sheet of colored paper, one small brown rectangle, and then one other small colored brown rectangle, or excuse me, some other smaller rectangle. It's probably going to be either like white or black or brown, might have some colors out. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my name on that big sheet of paper, Mr. Calvert, and whichever your class code is, I'm going to flip it over. And the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully trim off the edges of my paper so that they're rounded. Okay, so when I go to cut, it's going to look kind of like this. Okay, so I'm not just cutting it diagonally. I'm going to kind of round it a little bit. I'm going to do that to all four sides. So I'm going to draw it out first, so I don't make a mistake. And if I do, I can always fix it. All right, now that I've done all four corners, I'm going to take my scissors and carefully trim along those lines. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I've got this kind of rounded rectangle. My next step is I'm going to take my little rectangle, not the brown one. This is going to be the handle to my suitcase in a little bit. So I'm going to keep this one off to the side. I'm going to take this smaller rectangle. I'm going to glue 3 sides. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to glue right along that line. Usually I tell you not to use lines of glue. I usually tell you to use dots of glue. Today you can use a line of glue for this part. And this is going to actually be a little pouch on your suitcase that you can then stick stuff in. So I'm going to put a little line of glue. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay, and I'm going to carefully flip this over. Remembering this side doesn't have glue, so this one, I know that that's going to be the top of my suitcase. Okay, top of my suitcase is right here because now this has an opening. I can actually stick stuff down into that. Then at your table I have some strips of paper. Okay, you are going to take those strips and glue them right along the edge of your little pouch that you just did. You can do 2 strips that are different. You can see I'm using a red and blue. You could do just 2 strips that are the same. So I could do like 2 blue strips or 2 purple strips. That is up to you. I probably wouldn't use orange though because I have an orange colored suitcase. So use something other than the color of your suitcase. So I'm gonna put a few dots of glue along my strips of paper. Flip that over and glue it down. Remember, right along the edge. So it should line up with the top and the bottom of my suitcase. Top, bottom, and it covers up the edge of that pouch. Okay, I'm going to glue the other one down, just like I did my blue one, except it's going to be on the other side. Okay, next I can actually take my pencil or a crayon, and I can draw some little circles along the top of these strips. A lot of times these have like buttons, or they have little holes or buckles, and that way you can like snap close your suitcase. So I'm going to do 4 circles on each side. I could also take my pencil or crayon and draw anything else on here you'd like. Maybe you want to do some fun patterns. A lot of times suitcases have some pretty cool patterns on them or designs. Okay, my last step that I'm going to do is I am going to fold this rectangle in half, this brown one. And this is probably the hardest step. So I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, and you can see that it has this fold down the middle now. Now I'm going to carefully trim from my fold. So here's my fold. I'm going to put my finger up by it. Close it. So I'm going to trim from that fold, kind of just off the corner. Okay, like that. Like I did with the corners of my suitcase. And I'm going to do kind of the same thing here. I'm going to do the same shape. I'm going to come down, curve, down to the bottom like this. Okay, and that is going to give me a symmetrical handle. So it's going to look the same on the left side as it did on the right. Okay, ta-da! Put a little bit of glue at the bottom. Do the same on this side, and this is going to get glued on the back side of my suitcase. Okay, don't put it on the front. I'm going to glue it so it's on the back like this. Okay, kind of try to find the middle. All right, when you're that far, you are all finished with your suitcase. So I started off by rounding off the corners of my big sheet of paper. Then I glued on my pouch. Remember to only glue 3 sides. I know that this is my top because I can stick stuff inside it. I then glued down my 2 strips of paper. So you can add some little drawn buttons or buckles or whatever you'd like to. Maybe you want to make it look like a zipper or something along there. And then last but not least, you are cutting out your handle. Okay, if you need help with any of that, please be sure to let me know. When you're done, throw away all of your scraps, and then these can go in the drying rack when you're finished.